Good morning everyone, and thank you for joining me on another of my adventures today. I'm out to do some woodland photography, and at the moment we really are in the very end stages of autumn. There's been a lot of strong winds in the last couple of weeks, and I think that most of the autumn colour has been blown off the trees now with the strong winds. So there are some little touches of autumn here and there that I can see around me, but I really think the best of it is long gone now. So I'm out to concentrate on some woodland photography, and if I see any really nice autumn colour, I'll be sure to capture it, and that'll be a fantastic bonus.
Looking at a sky so clear, so much to discover here. Setting out on my own, all the places I can go.
So I've been walking along, and from quite a distance off I spotted this tree. I was really drawn to the colour. It really stands out amongst all the pines around it. Quite a few of the leaves have now blown off with the strong winds that I spoke about earlier, but there's plenty of leaves on this tree to make it look really nice, hopefully in a photograph. The copper colour really stands out and I really like it. The problem that I've got, and it's a problem that I'm seeing here, and it's a problem that I've seen all the way approaching this tree, is that all around the tree you can see there's lots of sky, so it's going to be very difficult to make it work in a composition, to make an effective composition in a nice photograph. However, I do have an idea. I think if I move on a little bit, I might be able to do something about that sky and hopefully make this shot work. So with some effort, some looking around and some patience, I think I've been able to capture an image here that I really like. I've been very mindful, as I spoke about earlier, the sky in this image. There's been some bright patches of sky between the trees that I saw on the way up here, and I've been spending a lot of time trying to get a nice composition in which I can completely exclude the sky, and I've been very successful in doing that. There's no sky at all in this image. I think in some woodland scenes, if you've got a big clearing in the trees perhaps, and there's a lot of sky showing, coming in perhaps from the top of your image, that can work fine. But in a shot like this, where there's just random patches of bright sky, it's purely a distraction. I didn't want that. I found this rather nice silver birch, which I'm positioning to the left of my shot. Then we've got some of the pathway that I'm including, and that copper coloured tree over to the right. So when I arrived, the light was quite subdued, and I've captured some versions of the composition like that. But I've also been noticing the sky, the sun rather, has been rising in the sky and moving round to my right. So I knew at some point the scene would be side lit. Now, the lighting is not ideal at the moment, but maybe 10 minutes or so ago there was some nice side lighting on the silver birch and on the copper coloured tree, and I think that worked really well. So I've captured the scene in those lighting conditions also. At autumn, we're at the tail end of autumn, a polarizer can be very effective, but I chose not to use it for this scene because I just really like the look of the subtle lighting, the soft light on the trees, and the colour of the trees as they are. I didn't really want to put on a polarizer and alter that in any way. So I think this has been a successful shot. The lighting is now far from ideal for woodland photography, but I'm off to see if I can find something else and maybe make that one work too. this tree here really caught my attention due to its shape, the moss on it, and I think it's got a lot of character. The sun is over in this direction and it's been backlighting the woodland beyond this tree, so it's got quite a nice, almost ethereal glow to it, which I really like. It's been another incredibly challenging composition to set up. I've been very aware of the brightness of the sky, which could be distracting in the image. So what I've decided to do is wait until the sun sort of got into the middle of my shot in terms of left to right positioning. And I've been trying to capture the starburst effect or the sunburst effect as it's come through the woodland. So hopefully it's going to look quite nice and dreamy off in the distance, and we'll have the nice character of this tree prominent to the left side of the image. And it's one of those scenes in which I'm hoping, sort of as I spoke about earlier, along those lines, that when you do include the sky and the brightness, it is going to work and hopefully add to the image. But I've got no real choice here. To get the composition the way I want, I do need to include that sky, and hopefully with the glow and the starburst effect, I'm going to be able to pull it off. So I've found what is going to be my final image today, the final photograph that I'm going to capture, and I'm quite excited about this one. But as is often the case in woodland photography, and as has been the case for all three images that I've captured today, the sky has once again been presenting me with some challenges. I found a dead pine tree over here. You'll see it maybe just to the left of the frame. And it's really characterful, it's really caught my attention, and we've got some wonderful soft light on it at the moment. So I've been having a look around to see how I can try and capture it at its best. And I've also been drawn to some of the surrounding pine trees around it, which are alive. They've got this wonderful soft light on them, which really makes the bark come alive and just gives it some really nice highlights. And I just really like it. So I've been deciding upon the composition and finally settled upon including this really nice shaped tree just to the left of the dead one. And then we've got the dead tree to the right of that, and then central behind the two of them, we've got a pine tree with some really nice soft light on it. Over to the right of that, I'm including some of the other trees, which again have got nice light on them. They're pine trees because I think it balances the scene quite nicely. And we've got some heather at the base of the image and some dead parts of trees and so on just at the bottom. So there's quite a lot of character to this scene. And I've decided not to include the top of the dead tree because it's going to include little parts of sky, and because there's so few parts and they're quite bright, it's almost white. There's some blue sky as well, but it's pretty much just white behind them. That's going to make them quite bright, and they will be a very big distraction in this photograph, even though they only form very small parts of it. So I've got the shot set up the way I want, and I've captured it, and I think it looks really good. So I'll show you it now and you can see what you think. So this tree here really does have so much character, and at the moment there's not a breath of wind, so it's just sitting here motionless in this section of woodland, and It really does look nice. I hope I've captured some of that character in my photograph. But as I said, that's going to be my final image for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching. It's been quite challenging trying to get 3 nice photographs today, just due to the changing light conditions and also seeing some nice compositions, but trying to exclude the sky if it didn't work in that particular shot. But as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.
Time goes on and seasons change. It's these moments that remain, and no matter where I go, I'll always hold them close.